Okay, we're back. I'd like to welcome Angus Rogers,
Thank you so much for having
developer here of Floridays Investment?
No, Floridays Development Company.
Okay, forgive me, Floridays Development Company. I like that. Angus, I am excited to have you on the show today, and I know that you said yes to Fort Myers and recently purchased the OASIS Towers, correct?
That is correct. Late last fall, early winter, we purchased the remaining inventory at the OASIS and have embarked on a resale mission and are fully underway with that.
Great. Let's, if we can, let's show the audience a real quick clip of the property.
Okay.
The OASIS, directly on the Caloosahatchee River at the gateway to downtown Fort Myers. An amazing address, an amazing value. Modern condominium living and luxury lifestyle at affordable prices. Priced from the low 200s, the OASIS offers spacious 2- and 3-bedroom units, a resort-style pool, state-of-the-art fitness center, tennis courts, and spectacular water views. Stop in and visit our sales center open daily. Call 239-245-9900 or visit our website.
Now that's why we live in Southwest Florida, really.
That's exactly why we live in Southwest Florida.
Absolutely, and I think all the people that are down here visiting should absolutely buy into this property, just for that alone. It's incredible.
I couldn't agree more. I live in Sarasota, just a little bit north of here, and it's amazing how there are a lot of parallels, but yet a lot of differences between our two little towns, and yet there's still the that whole Midwestern flair that exudes here on the West Coast is infectious. People just love being around it, and the people in Fort Myers have been very embracing of us and the project for that matter.
Now I love, we talked earlier about your extensive background. So let's give the audience a little bit of history. So you have been in the real estate development business for 20 years, is it?
I went out on my own in 1990, so it's been a little bit more than 20 years.
Okay.
I've lived in Sarasota for 20, and over that period of time, well, to back up, our family was in the mobile home and RV park business in Central Florida in the late 70s and 80s. So I kind of cut my teeth in the family business doing
It's in the blood then, the whole real estate thing?
Yes, I blame my parents. I had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
But on my own since 1990, and over that period of time I've developed a couple thousand rental apartments, some condominium towers, not just the ones we bought that are existing, restaurants, senior housing, and even some resorts. In fact, as you mentioned, Floridays to begin with, one of our most noteworthy projects up in Orlando is the Floridays Resort, which just last month was announced for 2013 as being the #1 resort in the United States for families.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And #5 in the world. So
#1?
In the United States.
In the United States and #5 in the world.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's a little Floridays development.
We're talking big deal here.
Well, we'd like to think that it's the people that come and enjoy the resort and the people that help with the experience. All of our folks there working are the ones that deliver that experience.
That's great. So you have done projects all over the country.
Actually, in mainly Florida and some in the Southeast. We've done work in Atlanta, we've done work in Greenville, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, and we keep it close to home. We've explored some other areas, but just seems like this is the area that we
You're just gravitating?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So why Fort Myers? What did you see in this great opportunity?
You know, people ask me why Fort Myers, and I'm like, why not? I mean, Fort Myers is just a wonderful area. If you're not from Fort Myers and you're just visiting here, you think, okay, it's just the beaches. It's Sanibel and Captiva and Fort Myers Beach. But there's so much more to Fort Myers. If you come downtown Fort Myers, one of the few towns in Florida outside of the Panhandle where there's a lot of use of brick, it creates certain parallels to other towns up north, but yet with its own flavor. I mean, we've got a lot of rich history here, as a few other towns on the West Coast, but it has, it's all centered around a wonderful waterfront. Mm-hmm. Downtown, certainly around the river, and you've got fabulous restaurants. You've got an art walk on Fridays. You've got all these different activities, and with what the town has done for Fort Myers, with its rejuvenation of, reworking all the utilities underground, putting in the new
Cobblestone.
all the cobblestone, and putting it,
They've done a good job making it very pedestrian friendly. We're encouraging that you live and work there.
Absolutely, and I understand that there's some new hotel developers talking about adding some hotel space to the convention center. The new bayfront, the new the boat basin. I mean, it's just a lot of excitement downtown, and so when the opportunity arose for the OASIS, here we are. I would call it at the gateway to downtown. As you come off the interstate and you finally come to where the road splits, and the city begins. We are right at the cusp of the city, and enough removed so you don't have the crazy hubbubaloo of downtown, but you're right there.
You're right there, so you can walk. You can take the trolley because it comes right to your...
The trolley stops right at our front door. So
That's great.
What more than to thumb a ride on the trolley and take you downtown?
It's interesting just hear you talk about downtown like that, because when you live here, you get complacent and you kind of take those things for granted. So you're right, we do have a beautiful downtown, and it's neat. I want to touch on, because we've just seen this beautiful clip of your condos, but many people may not realize that they've actually seen this project before.
Oh, yes, they have.
Yes, and in that downturn of a few years ago, we can all picture that condo in downtown Fort Myers that had one gentleman living in it, one family.
Yes, it seems like an eternity ago, but the reality was it wasn't that long ago, and certainly put this project and Fort Myers to an extent on the map nationally. You could see it on Evening News, on CNN. It was all over. And now fast forward a few years, and you've got two towers, one of which is fully occupied and sold. The other one that where the remaining inventory is a little more than halfway sold. And you see people using the pool, lots and lots of people using the pool, the exercise facilities, coming and going, having friends over. It's a far cry from one fellow living in this solitary.
Absolutely, and I think for me it just brings, it's a picture of hope, restored, renewed, that yes, you know what, we are still worth investing in here in Fort Myers, Lee County, Southwest Florida. And
more than worth investing. I mean, if you look at what they were selling for before, but even forget that, what it costs to build. As a developer, it's been frustrating the last few years that it's been difficult to think about development because candidly, you can buy existing for less than it costs to build. So we've had to be nimble over these years to acquire deals like this where we can use our magic and turn around and then resell them and still earn a few bucks. But at the prices we're selling them at, you couldn't begin to you couldn't build them for that. So
that's a great point.
It's interesting, everyone talks about, when are we hitting bottom? When are we, this whole bottom question? And probably because we've been skipping along it for a while. But now as things have seriously begun to come up, we've seen a lot of influx of buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for that good deal to be able to capitalize on. And we're seeing a lot more of it this season, both here and in other markets.
Now, who are you typically seeing living at OASIS or purchasing OASIS?
It's interesting. It's as much the cross-section of the town as anything. You would think, if you talk to my nieces and nephews up north, they think it's only old people. Of course, they think I'm old. So, but,
well, they're just wrong.
They're just wrong. But it's certainly young professionals. It is, it is snowbirds. It's retirees. It's even very young folks. It's an entire mix.
It's a nice cross section.
What the thread is simply what we find is that for folks that want that modern, sleek look, that has attracted so many to Oasis, that brings them together. There's not, the way the buildings were built, they all have a western-facing balcony as their primary view. And for those of us who don't like to wake up too early and prefer our sunsets, what better way to end the day than to look out your living room or your bedroom and see the sunset? It's very calming. It's very refreshing, and it's just a nice way to end the day and get ready for the next one.
Let's take a look, if we can, at some of those photos of the units. Maybe
Okay.
you can tell us what we're looking at.
Sure.
All right, there we go.
This is, for those of you who are boaters or looking back from the Caloosahatchee back at the Oasis, and you can see where everybody that's in the building is looking at you from their balcony. A resort-style pool. There's actually 2 pools connected by a nice pool deck up on the 4th floor. So,
Okay, Angus, I want to go hang out at that pool, okay? So I'm going to tell them I know Mr. Big Cheese and I need to hang out there, is all right?
you don't even have to know the Big Cheese. You're welcome to come there. Come see our staff. And
Oh, look at that.
is someone with your boyfriend there?
No, married. Oh, that's great.
But yes, lovely views, especially in the evening. But
That is so encouraging, from just that one lonely guy in the tower to there, and it's active and it's full and people are enjoying it. That's great. Thank you for believing in Fort
very
Myers.
nice.
Appreciate
It
that.
was not a difficult task.
Good. Let's talk about some of the other projects, because I know you just finished one in Atlanta and you noticed some changes. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was interesting in Atlanta. We bought a condominium deal there. There had been 240 plus units where the original developer and their investors over the course of 4 years had sold about 110 of them, and in the last 17 months we sold the remaining 130. Had to do some creative things to the units to get them ready for market. But an interesting thing we found, now mind you, this is in a mid-market area, and it was mainly entry level, where we had studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms. Studios ran in that mid to high $60,000 range, 1 bedrooms in the mid to high 90s, and 2 bedrooms in the $130,000 range. And again, similar to what we have at Oasis, about half the price it costs to build. So a wonderful deal. We found that many of the folks buying there could afford to purchase a lot more expensive home, yet they preferred to purchase in this price range given the pain that went around the real estate market in this last downturn.
So a little bit more conservative.
A lot more conservative.
Okay.
Putting much healthier down payments down, and living below their means. And
What a concept.
what a concept! Things that our parents told us to do way back when. And I'm kind of seeing that across the board.
And what a contrast to the high-end project you did in Sarasota.
Oh, the flagship property we did in Sarasota, the Grand Riviera, that was finished in 2005. Many people know it because it's the building with the gold dome right downtown. That project sold for in excess of $700 a square foot.
Wow.
In what we call designer ready mode, where people still needed to finish.
They still need to put some money into their liking.
Yeah. But even though that sounds expensive, because it is expensive, and these other projects are much less, I mean, it's all about value. Mm-hmm. And our mantra is to deliver value for the price point. So whether you're buying a $100,000 unit or a $250,000 unit or something much more expensive, you're going to get a lot of value for your money.
And I think that's a byproduct of the last few years that we'll take away, that we probably have some wisdom. Some of it hurt.
Some of it hurt, indiscriminately hurt. I mean, whether you were a real estate developer, an investor, a banker, an appraiser, a surveyor, and the list goes on, it zapped all of us. So, so now that we're in this rebuilding mode, and the green shoots are out there, and the market begins to continue its upward movement, it's not going to be a spike up, I don't feel, but it's certainly moving in the right direction.
We have one more clip to show of OASIS, so let's
Great.
do that just before we end.
Hey now, come on, let's go. The music's playing, I've got to move on, to go out. No more delaying, pack my things up, carefree, adventures waiting. I'm heading out to see the rest of the world.
What a fun clip. Great video. Good.
It's fun, and we have to thank Mona and the Genesis team for that.
Excellent. Job well done.
Yes.
Well, Angus, I have enjoyed having you on the show. And what's another project in the midst? Anything you can give us a glimpse of?
We're doing a hotel in downtown Sarasota, and we're looking at some other hotel opportunities right now. We have a couple more residential projects as well. But right now, there's nothing more important than Fort Myers and the Oasis.
All right.
So thank you so much for having me.
That's great. Well, thank you for saying yes to Fort Myers and
A
for
big
coming
yes.
on the show. All right. So did you enjoy the show today? Definitely some hidden treasures. So go visit Terry Foster at Skinny Pantry. Make sure you make the art show Friday night at First Assembly. Get to see the emerging artists and support them. And then, hey, go for a tour of OASIS. I mean, just for that pool and the view, that's worth the trip alone. Hope you have a great week. See you next week. Thank you.